This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for June 7, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, Parliamentary Committee to review job descriptions, Code of Conduct for Ministers and MPs. A joint select committee of Parliament is to be established to review the job descriptions and the Code of Conduct for ministers and members of Parliament. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the disclosure during a statement to the House of Representatives on June 6. The process is well advanced. We have consulted with the opposition. We have so far shared one document with them, and others will follow shortly. So I am giving notice to the House that next week we will name the committee and begin the full review of both the job descriptions and the Code of Conduct, Holness said. We hope that within short order we can establish a process where these job descriptions can be finalized and made public and become the template, the framework against which the execution of our duties can be judged by the public, he added. Holness informed that the committee will also be tasked to articulate an accountability framework. It is important that the Parliament establishes its own integrity, he said. Leader of the opposition Mark Golding, for his part, said the opposition intends to engage constructively in this process. We are in favor of anything that would entrench integrity in the life of parliamentarians, clarify what our roles are so that the wider society understands and can hold us accountable for what we do or don't do, he noted. He said that the opposition received the job descriptions on Tuesday, and we will review them, and we will name our representatives to the Joint Select Committee that is being established, and we look forward to receiving the draft Code of Conduct so we can do the same. Portland businessman loses appeal against the contempt of court over parking lot. Portland businessman Kevin Sodil has lost his appeal against the Supreme Court ruling that he was in contempt of a court order and should pay a fine or go to prison. Supreme Court Judge Sonia Wint Blair heard the contempt of court proceedings in October 2021 and imposed a fine of $1 million or 30 days imprisonment for interfering with the administration of justice and bringing it into disrepute. Sodil was given 7 days to pay the fine and also granted leave to appeal the ruling. The point is that the public must understand that we are in a country of laws, and it is the rule of law not to rule a man which must prevail, says King's Counsel Andre Earl, who represented the respondents who had brought a contempt of court proceedings against Sodil in the Supreme Court in July 2021. Earl, who appeared with attorney-at-law Deandra McPherson, said yesterday that the orders of the court must be obeyed at all times unless and until those orders have been overturned, revoked, or varied by the court. Sodil, who operates a car rental business, had disobeyed a Supreme Court order on January 8, 2021, granted by Justice Tara Carr, which specifically stated that supermarket owners Garfield Sinclair and Linsett Sinclair must use the common area for parking and delivery. The Sinclairs brought an application in July 2021 for criminal contempt of court. They said despite the court order, vehicles belonging to Sodil were still blocking the common area at 16 West Street in Port Antonio, Portland, and thus preventing goods from being delivered to the warehouse for the supermarket. The Court of Appeal, in dismissing the appeal on May 26, held that Justice Wint Blair came to the correct decision in October 2021 on the issues of fact and law which arose for her analysis in deciding whether Sodil was guilty of contempt. The court, comprising the President, Justice Patrick Brooks, Justice David Fraser, and Justice Kesak Leng, said the judge clearly set out the conclusions for her finding and cannot be faulted. It was the court's finding that on the facts of the case, it was not disputed that Sodil was at all material times fully aware of the January 2021 order, which was an injunction barring Sodil and Joyce Redeem Sodil from preventing or restricting the Sinclairs' use of the common area. Sodil was represented by attorney-at-law Nicholas Chambers, instructed by legal chambers. Malahoo Fort defends the work of Constitutional Reform Committee. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahoo Fort has defended the work of the Constitutional Reform Committee amid criticism of its members and the manner in which it is discharging its duties. Mrs. Malahoo Fort, who is chair of the committee, said the group is open to deliberating on concerns regarding the process of reform. She also called for members of the public to refrain from attempts to tarnish the reputation of the committee members.
Let's not tear people down. Let's not rip into them. Say what you have to say, raise your concerns. I assure you that the committee, chaired by me, will listen and we will take carefully what you say and consider it. But, criticize me, criticize the political reps, but do not criticize so undeservedly those outside of the political directorate who are volunteering their time and expertise to be part of this important work. Committee members come to meetings well prepared, and they are very mindful of the enormous task ahead of us as a nation to repair and rebuild trust. I mentioned Dr. Barnett previously, but I will repeat. Dr. Barnett and Professor Richard Albert of the University of Texas at Austin, we owe them a debt of gratitude for the assistance they are providing in their expert area of constitutional law. 12 meetings of the committee have been convened, and we also have engaged with segments of the public in various fora, including almost 30 meetings. I say to everyone listening, including members here, that we want to hear from the public you represent in your constituencies. We want to hear from you. All are invited to make written submissions to the committee, and some will have the opportunity to follow up with oral submissions.
Labour Minister warns employers against paying below new minimum wage. The Minister of Labour says it will closely monitor employers who have refused to pay the new minimum wage. Effective June 1, the minimum wage was increased from $9,000 to $13,000 per 40-hour work week, while the rate for industrial security guards moved to $14,000 per week. There have been concerns that employers who have flouted the law for years continue to underpay their workers. But speaking with the news on Tuesday, Labour Minister Pernell Charles Jr. warned that this breach of the law will not be tolerated.
The Ministry's Pay and Conditions of Employment branch, which we call PCEB, has a team of labor officers who monitor employers and as they receive complaints from workers who feel that their labor rights have been violated, they execute inspections and carry out the necessary checks to make sure that the employers are abiding by the laws and the regulations. Labor rights include pay, leave entitlements and such things, and the Ministry encourages any worker who feels that they are not receiving the correct wages to visit us. Visit any one of our ministry offices and you give them the full information, and you can go there and make your full complaint.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.